in numbers too big to ignore, and I know too much to go back and pretend, 'cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor.
Welcome to another edition of Women in Real Estate Success Series. My name is Julie Davis from Agent Dynamics, and my guest today is Nicole Carter from McGrath, the principal of McGrath Surfers Paradise Southport. Is that right, Nicole?
That's correct, yes, Julie.
Yes. And right here on the beautiful Gold Coast. So it's actually our second week. We had Sonia Smith last week as our guest. So we're staying on the Goldie this week. My home and your home,
Yes.
Nicole. And you actually are very prevalent as an agent in the next suburb to where I live, in Reedy Creek. So your name's on everybody's lips there. And as a matter of fact, I was looking through some information. We've actually known each other for quite some time now, and we run into each other. But I think that the biggest compliment that we can get is the feedback that we get from our clients. And I was looking through some of your feedback on your reviews, and it's just staggering in terms of what people have endorsed you for. And it's no wonder that you've had so much longevity in our industry. It's about 16 years ago now that you
That's
joined
right,
the industry.
Yes.
And Nicole, what did you do prior to coming into real estate?
So previous to that, I resided in South Africa. So this was before my husband and I immigrated with our little 1-year-old and decided we wanted a new adventure, a new opportunity. So pre-coming here, I had a few businesses, but probably more relevant was similar to real estate, but we used to build our own properties and sell them. So my husband and I have always worked together, and that's what we did in South Africa. So prestige homes, we probably did about 20 a year, where we
Oh my
would,
goodness.
yes, which was quite exciting. So similar, but we would actually build the property. So we were involved with the clients from the beginning right through to the end with the floor plan, finishes, and really just assisted them through the process, and then would sell the property to purchasers who were looking for properties in the real estate field.
Wow. So Murray's in the business with you as well, Nicole?
Yes,
Currently?
yes. So we've always worked together. It's quite a good dynamic because I have a lot of people who approach me and say, I could never work with my husband. What's it like? But we both have two clearly defined positions really in the business, whereby his clients are the agents in the office. So he really is hands-on, day-to-day running of the business and assisting agents with their sales. Whereas I am a sales agent, so I have my own clients, my own area. So we tend to go off in two different directions and then come back together at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's great. And it is, no doubt that it is very challenging if you are a selling principal trying to run a team.
Yes.
It's a very big challenge, and one that's not done that well very often. So I think it's really wise, and I would give this advice as well, if you are working with your partner, is that you do have those two very different roles.
Yes, absolutely. We found that has worked for us over the years. So we've molded our business accordingly, and it's served us well so far.
Yeah, that's great. And so you've got two girls?
Yes, I do. I have an older daughter who's almost 16, and my youngest, who I still call my baby, but she's actually 7.
Yeah, that's lovely. So one in high school and one in primary.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. And so, and I was a young mum too when I was in real estate myself. How do you juggle? What is your I guess the sanity and the reason why you can be as successful as you are in real estate and juggling a family? What do you do in terms of how do you manage that? Do you have external help, or what do you do?
Yes, I mean, as I'm sure most other working moms know, it is a juggle, especially in real estate. We don't have set hours. And I have a big gap between my two girls, almost 8 years, for that exact reason. I had one child, I was at the prime of my career. And as females, you get to that point where you're actually getting too old to have a child. So I needed to make that decision heading close to 40, what I was going to be doing. Hence, I decided to have a little one and not potentially step back from the business, but just set up my life whereby I could carry on with real estate. So when I had my baby, I actually did employ a full-time nanny
Yes.
so that I could carry on. So I set my business up at home, brought on a full-time nanny, and that allowed me to carry on. Of course, as they've got a bit older, it has got a bit easier, but we certainly do have help. So I have someone who helps me on a Saturday. I have a nanny who comes in because we're both at open homes or at auctions or at the office.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just with housework as well, it's the load is huge to be working and to manage the household and the kids. So I have someone who does assist me with my house as well once a week, just to try and feel normal and stay on top of everything.
Yeah, and that's really, really wise, because I think so many of us try to be super women,
Yes.
and that doesn't really serve a purpose in any area of our life, because you just can't continually juggle. And if you do compartmentalize and look at those key elements that go into your life and what will be the very best way, especially energetically, of you being able to make sure that everybody's wishes are met and needs are met, but also yourself.
Yes, I think that's very important. So we try as well on a Sunday, make that our family day as much as we can. Obviously, things happen or an important auction, but we try and ensure that that's our family day, just to reconnect, have some time with each other. So that's very important within our family, because 6 days a week we're available for everyone, but there has to be that little bit of downtime or you do get burnt out. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I've actually just got off the phone with a client, and we're just talking about that exact same thing, of how, at the end of the day, when you leave the office or your last appointment,
yes.
do you have a ritual that you go through in terms of being able to unwind from the day so you can be present at home?
Look, I suppose it's always difficult when you're a selling agent, because your phone will ring 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night with inquiries or something. It could be a vendor who has something urgent to ask you. So what we try and do is we try and spend that time probably between 5 and 7. Obviously, there's dinner, there's homework with the kids. Try and have that time where we're not always on the phone. And then from about 7:30 in the evening, most of those inquiries or anything urgent, if I can reply via text, I will. But other than that, I will attend to it first thing in the morning. Otherwise, it's an endless cycle that we go through with our phones, with our text messaging, not spending time with our kids or our partners. So we don't have a set ritual as such, but we're sensitive.
You've got boundaries around it, okay, which is really...
Absolutely.
It's really important. And I think that, and I know when I was a selling agent, and I was super busy, and I had help and all of that sort of thing. But what I found the most difficult thing for me was to be able to cut off and to be able to have me time and to be fully present. And we talk a lot about this, don't we, about mindfulness and how important, and your mental health, and how do you sustain, Nicole, to show up every day, both for your family, your husband, your family, and your business? How do you show up for yourself? What do you do in terms of recharging and replenishing your battery?
Well, I definitely try to get a good night's sleep. So I'm an early riser, but I don't stay up late, generally speaking. I try and allocate a bit of time during the week to do some yoga and meditation. I find that relaxing, where the phone's off, where I can have an hour, hour and a half to myself.
Yeah.
And then over and above that, if I can squeeze in 1 or 2 sessions at the school gym while I'm dropping off the kids, I'll try and multitask and do that as well. It's not always possible. Things will happen. You'll have an early
Yeah.
appointment, but I'll try as well because, like you rightfully said, we also have to be relaxed, but available and switched on all the time. So you have to have that downtime as well, where you're doing something for yourself, a bit of self-love.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I know that you're a very social person as well because we're around the traps, we've bumped
Yes,
into each other, and so
absolutely.
you, to me, looking from the outside, you have like a really healthy group of friends in terms of that you can switch off from work and have girlfriend conversations and do
Yes.
those sorts of things as well.
I do. I have a great network of girlfriends who happen to all be business owners as well, who are moms, parents. So we go through similar things, which is quite nice to share with them because we're all in the same boat.
Yeah,
And that does help. So we certainly try where we can do a business lunch or just
yeah,
something a little bit fun where we can combine both, but also just
hmm,
share our trials and tribulations and feel like we're on the right path. Are we doing things correctly? Should we change things? And when you deal with other women in real estate, not just real estate, but other businesses, they're able to give you a bit of insight into what they do or maybe
yeah.
how they juggle things a bit better.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think as females, we're very fortunate to have that because for the males, they don't have that ability, or I guess that they're just not built the way that they sit down like us as women, and we just chat and talk about things and get things off our chest
Yes.
and collaborate together. So I think that's certainly one benefit of being a woman and being able to communicate like we do.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you have tell us a bit about your office with McGrath.
Yes. So we've recently, I would say over the last 18 to 24 months, we've recently moved from our previous brand, which we had for 14 years. Both my husband and I wanted a bit of a change, and McGraw was something that suited us and certainly appealed to what we wanted moving forward and what our dreams and aspirations were. So our office is the one which is based at beautiful Ferry Road in
Hmm.
Southport.
I drove past it the other day. Actually, it looks fabulous.
Yes, it's a beautiful office. So we're very fortunate that we were able to move in there. And since we've been there, we've certainly grown the office complement. We have now, I think we're around 19 or 20 agents in that office. We also have the Paradise Point office, which is a smaller office,
Okay.
but that's our main one. So within that office, we also have a very nice complement of male female, which is something very important to us. So it's probably a 50-50 ratio.
Yeah. Great.
And I think it works really well in terms of the culture in the office, the team dynamic, and ideas that we bounce off each other. So between Murray and myself, we're pretty involved with growing agents and ensuring they have everything that they need at their disposal. We can assist them grow their teams if need be. So yes, it's been really wonderful, and we've got some good plans for the next 5 years in place.
Oh, that's awesome. So if somebody was listening, so I'm going to have two questions for you.
Yes,
And I know you were with another brand for a long time, and the decision to move, even though it's a bit different because you're business owners,
yes,
as an agent in a maybe in an environment that's not working great for them. What would be your advice to them in terms of their strategy, in terms of should they move, should they not? What
yes,
are the key things that they should look for and deserve in any office that they go into?
yes. Look, I suppose I could talk from experience because it's always daunting and challenging moving from an office because you're scared of the unknown. Are you going to be able to do this again and recreate your business? I think ultimately it doesn't come down to the office. It's going to come down to the agent because you can put an agent in any office. And if they're not committed and are not doing the right things every day, they're not going to succeed. Of course, the culture does help you, your principal, support you may have from the admin team, things like that will assist you. But there's only so many things that an office can bring you. Ultimately, as an agent, I think you need to have resilience, probably number one, because of all the no's and rejections that you get and obstacles you come up against. And you'll know that as being an agent as well. And some people just can't do that. They can't handle that. Others are not prepared to commit to themselves and to the cost it involves to market yourself as well. You have to outlay that possibly up front just to get yourself up and running, which is very important. So I've seen it in a lot of agents. The successful ones tend to shine wherever they go because they're committed, their values are good, their customer service is good. So all those things always shine through.
Yeah, absolutely. And discipline's a really big word in that, because
Yeah,
unless you're
absolutely.
structured and you're disciplined, and that you actually, you know, very, very focused on the amount of time that you've got and using that most efficiently through the day. So
Yes.
let's talk about, and we span back, you know, over the past 16 years. What have been your most challenging moments in the industry?
What have been the most challenging? I mean, there's always moments, you go through cycles, especially in the property cycles. It's not always on the up, up, up. Certainly, when we opened our office, that was when the GFC had just hit. So you're opening a brand new office, no one is buying any properties, you're trying to get yourself established. So that initial period was very tough. And I would say to any agent, you have to give yourself at least 6 months to a year to really get running. And a lot of agents want to see instant results. They want to make one sale and they can't understand why 10 more aren't around the corner. So it's that persistence of continually just doing the basics of really knocking on those doors, marketing yourself constantly, communicating with your local area, and really finding a core area. I think that's
Yeah.
important.
I was just going to ask you that, Nicole, because I know that in terms of the reputation, you know, where, particularly when that Somerset catchment area is, the
Yes,
school, is that you've marketed yourself really well. And, you know, I've always been a believer that, you know, that you need to be a specialist rather than a generalist. And
correct.
I really think that a farm or a core business area is really quite important.
Absolutely. And we try and encourage every agent within our office to do the same thing. Become a specialist, become the local leader where homeowners will come to you, or the school community, or you're part of something within the community and you're top of mind. But you can't do that across 10,000 homes. So you have to hone in and become an area expert. And I think that's what I've tried to do over the years through ups and downs. Having a baby, all those things are a juggle. But I think it's being consistent and also evolving. Obviously, the things I did 15 years ago with social media and how times have changed, we
Mm-hmm.
don't, with newspapers, and it could be simple little things. You have to try and be ahead of the pack and see what is happening, what's working.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe things in international markets are working that we could implement here. So just trying to change up things. You can't possibly do the same things that you were doing 15 years ago.
Yeah, and as you say, being involved in the community, the schools, all of
Yes.
that sort of thing, and to really, really know your area. Because I know my daughter lives in Reedy Creek, and I drive through, and your signs are there quite, you know, consistently. So tell us a little bit about, you know, your really special moments within the industry of that you've been really proud of yourself.
Yes, well, I've been fortunate that I've in my previous franchise, I had the opportunity, because it was an American company, to go to the States quite often. And there was one particular moment where I was invited and got a really fantastic award for a female in real estate, and it was sent over there, which included some of my team from their previous office. And I got to speak in Vegas, which was quite
Wow.
exciting. A
Yeah.
few other females, so Century 21 and it was my brand as well. And then there were a few other international brands, which was very exciting to be up on stage and just chat to other females in real estate. So that was quite exciting. And, we got to meet some amazing people. So that would definitely be one of my highlights, and proud to have said I've done that. What else? Yeah, I've got so many over the years, to be honest, which were just special moments for me in general. And hoping over the next couple of years with McGrath, there'll be a few more to come.
I hope so too. I hope so too. Now, I read on your maybe your LinkedIn, and you had a really special quote there, which is your favorite quote that you talk about. Can you tell us what that quote is and what it means to you?
Just trying to recall which one that is.
I think it's on your Facebook. It's about a butterfly, I think. It's about growth.
About evolving and growth.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one.
Yes, I think I have to certainly say that, every person that I've met, not just a real estate agent, they're not born great. It takes time. It takes skill to evolve and learn from people who've done it before, because success does leave clues. So I have found that through my journey, working over the last 20, 25 years. I've always worked, had different businesses, but mainly in real estate. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think we're very hard on ourselves. Our expectation, especially as females, is very high. We want it to all happen overnight, must be perfect, and it's going to be like that for the next 10 years. And that's not the reality.
No.
There will be plenty of highs and lows. There will be plenty of punches along the way. That's life. But I think it's about getting back up, how we're going to cope with it, and learning what we need to do next time round, because there normally is a next time round.
Yes.
And I certainly think you can come out stronger and braver. It's just about getting back up again. And I've seen a lot of people in our industry who've maybe had a bad experience, or things just haven't panned out and they just don't get back out. It's just too difficult. And it's sad because we lose a lot of good people.
We do. And it's often just in that little space where they just a little bit longer and they would have been successful.
Correct. So I try and live by that. And I would say that's a testament to keep pushing ahead. It's not always easy. Days are not always fun and functions and we're all smiling and laughing. We all have those tough days, or we have to get our kids to school and someone's crying or something's been left behind. And, you're not always on 150% every single day. But if you can do your best and not be too hard on yourself, I think that's enough. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. It's been great catching up with you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Julie.
You're very welcome. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people listening to this that really look at your advice. It's very sage advice in terms of very sensible and logical advice. Is that everything doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
And if we have a look at the people within our industry, it's very rarely that somebody comes in and they're an overnight success.
Absolutely. And I might leave with this, that I often find, obviously, because we all compete against each other every single day, you constantly want to be better than the next agent. The competition is ultimately with yourself. And I've learned that
in the mirror, isn't it?
Absolutely. So that's all you need to worry about. You are only really looking at yourself every day. Can you better yourself? Can you potentially cope with more business? And that's really where the competition is, not with the other agents in your area, because ultimately you need to be happy with yourself, with your life.
Yeah, and that's dead right. You can never ever try to be, an imitation of somebody else.
No, exactly.
You have to show up and be the best version of yourself. Look forward to catching up soon.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being a guest on the Women in Real Estate Success series.
Thank you.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You're capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you. You have to believe in yourself. You don't have to hide anything. You can be your true self. Don't need to follow society. Never forget that you're blessed. Give thanks for everything. Even the hard times will turn out to be blessings. No matter how you feel, you can learn from your pain. It's there to make you great. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come.